This video is for entertainment and storytelling purposes only. Nothing in this video is intended to promote or encourage stupid behaviour. All references are purely anecdotal and any slang use is not meant to be taken literally. Enjoy. I'm sure going through school you had that one friend who was just there for everything. The one who could tell a different side to every single story that you have. Well, for me it was this mofo, Jake Crocker Bryce. I met Jake when I was 10 years old in year 5. After low-key picking on him for the next couple of months, we became inseparable mates, not knowing the series of up, strange and wild events that were to follow in the next 6 years. However, I'm not here to bore you with hours worth of stories. I'm here to tell just one which gets me fired the f up every single time I think about it. So I figured it's finally time that I tell it. It's January of 2023 and I've just gotten my hands on some bickies. So I invite Crocker around to my house on the 26th. He comes around and our plan for this night, obviously, you guessed it, was to eat a couple of bickies each. Yeah, we'd go for a bike ride later that night, conduct some business. But when he got to my house, we weren't that far yet. So we go to my room and we get on the Xbox straight away. I remember at the time, we were getting really good at this game that we'd always play. I don't know if you might have heard of it. It's called Asphalt 9. We just grind that out. And every single time it was Crocker's turn, I would annoy the fuck out of this, like straight up, squishing his cheeks, whispering things into his ear. I'd make these things up and be like, you want a little secret? And it was literally just like where I'd whisper in his ear annoying shit. Or I'd make up like a word and ask him if he wants one of those and just do like the most random shit to his head. It'd get him fired up and it'd make me just piss my pants laughing, bro. And I remember at the time, although he'd been getting into Muay Thai, I was still stronger than him physically. So anytime he'd try to like fight back or like get me to stop annoying him, I would just pin him down on the bed, and I found that funny as fuck. So it gets to around 8:30 p.m. and we decide that we're going to go on our bike ride and eat our bickies. So we do. And as we're riding, I can feel my state of energy, my alertness climbing higher and higher. And I say to Crocker, bruz, I'm feeling fucking G'd up. I'm excited for tonight. And his vibe's sort of like super mellow, super chill. So I say to him, bruz, how you feeling? And he says to me, completely fine. We ride to the suburb over so that I can meet with the client and conduct a little business, because at this point I'd been making around $1,000 a week at 15 years old. And I would meet with this guy on the regular, you know, he was a G, right? So we get to the other suburb around 9:10, link up with the G, dap him up, talk with him for a little bit, and we start riding home. And I remember riding home was always an absolute trek. It just felt like so much longer in the dark as well. But obviously I don't really mind at this point. I'm feeling super good. And I asked Crocker, you know, how you feeling, bro? You having a good time? And once again, super mellow, super chill. He's not really saying much. As we're riding, I'm blasting music and I'm singing along with the songs. I think we were listening to that one song by Sydney Youngins. It was like Yella, I think it's called. But we get back home, I want to say 9:30-ish, and we're sitting on the bed in my room. By this point, obviously I've got a set of dinner plates attached to my head. And so I get out the camera and I start recording myself. And I point it on to Crocker, and he just looks like completely normal. So I say something that we found so fucking funny at the time. I said, oh, he's not got dinner plates yet.
Oh, he's not got dinner plates yet.
And we just start pissing our pants laughing. But it gets to around 10 o'clock and I decide I'm gonna have a shower. You know, I need to clean myself up. And whilst I'm in the shower, you know, blasting music, having a good time, I'm expecting to get out of the shower and Crocker's just super mellow, super chill. He's, you know, just sitting in my room waiting to do something. But I get out of the shower, dry myself off, and as soon as I open the shower door, I shit you not, Crocker is stood right outside the door like this. So I remember I get my phone out, we get a few photos in the mirror, you know, we're really feeling ourselves, looking fresh as fuck. And I remember literally 20 minutes later, we were like ready to go over to the other suburb and link with this client once again. He would always come back and forth. We sort of had like a drop shipping system going at the time. So that's the way we'd sort of operate things, you know what I'm saying? So it gets to 10:30, we leave out the laundry door of my house. We walk down the side of my driveway and out the front gate. At which point I turn on my speaker, we get some music blasting, we're vibing by this point, you know, Crocker's G'd the fuck up. And as we're walking, we're just chatting with each other, talking about our future, you know, we're yapping about how we're gonna be millionaires, this and that. Because at the time, bro, all we would do is talk. We'd talk about where we're gonna be in the future, where we plan to be in 5 years. But our actions didn't exactly reflect that, you know, eating bickies on a random fucking Friday night, whatever it was. But anyhow, we get to the suburb around half an hour later, so like 11 p.m, and I'm just waiting at the bus stop with Crocker because obviously my client hasn't pulled up yet. We're talking to each other, just getting photos. We got a fuck ton of photos this night, and this guy finally pulls up. We get talking to him for a fucking long time. Obviously, we're in a super, social mood. So just yapping to him. It was always a good talk because he actually sort of resonated with Crocker and I. You know, we actually got along with this dude fairly well. We eventually make our way home, literally arrive back like 12:30 a.m. I make Crocker and I a protein shake. We spend the rest of the night grinding out Asphalt Legends. But this is where the story gets hectic, okay? Go to bed about 3 a.m, hop up at 7 the next morning. So only really got about, I want to say 3 or 4 hours of sleep. We spend this day riding bikes, you know, getting sun, chilling with each other. I didn't have the gym on this particular day. Crocker stays again at my house that night. But the next day is where shit really ramps up. My older brother's mates were in town for the weekend and he'd invited them over to have a few bevies by the pool. Simple, easy. But let me just preface this by saying that is not what fucking happened. This is hands down one of the most hectic nights of my life, and that's why I haven't been able to forget it. I had to tell this story today. On the 28th of January, Crocker and I last minute decided that we were going to eat 3 bickies each on this particular night and go for a bike ride. But this time it was going to be super early. We go for a bike ride at 7:30 p.m. eat our bickies, and we're just, you know, pumping. And obviously because we're, you know, riding super fast this time, we've really got the blood circulating around our body. It does not take long for our mood to be super just fucking elevated over the next 20 minutes. We ride all the way to the suburb over simply just so we can, you know, bomb down the hill that's there. And by this point, we're really vibing with each other. You know, we're talking, we're telling each other how much we love each other. I'm sure some of you can relate. One thing that I always remember looking back on these times is going for these bike rides and blasting that song by 1-4 called Heartless, just every single time without fail, and just like singing the lyrics together. What's on this heartless? Heartless, trapped in the warfare. That was a summer banger in 2023. But around half an hour later, our dinner plates are most definitely in full effect. And we decide we're gonna go home. We don't want to ride home in the dark. It always just feels so much further because we can't see. We didn't have lights on our bike. We'd have to use our flash. So we decide, you know what? It's like 8:15. Let's fucking oge. Let's go back home. Sure enough, we get back home and all my brother's mates are there. So I believe there was 3 of them. My brother was there and so was Crocker. So it was like 6 of us all together. We decide we're gonna go for a swim out by the pool. So as we're all getting ready, you know, we're getting towels, we're getting swimmers and stuff. I'm taking photos with my brother's boys, obviously, as I mentioned, super social mood, da-da-da-da-da. And we finally decide to go out by the pool. And it's at this point that one of my brother's mates gets a pack of beverages out of his car. And he brings them into the pool yard. You know, he's letting everyone have them. He doesn't really care. He was actually a fairly generous bloke. So by this point, Crocker and I are fucking flowing with everyone there. We're doing like push-up competitions and shit. We're all just yapping, you know. And you would think because, you know, 3 bickies, basically a picnic at this point, that we would just stop there, you know. Good night, cool, 3 done and dusted. Nope, you would be fucking wrong. Gets to around, I want to say 9:30 p.m. What do? Another 3 bickies, dust them off, you know? And given the fact that this night had already kicked off, you know, we'd had some beveraginos. 20 minutes later, dinner plates once again in full effect. Now in 9:45, my brother and his mates all decide that they want to go on a Macca's run. So they all hop in the ute. I think it was like a 3-person ute and one of them was just going to stay back with us. But as they're pulling out, you know, they're getting ready to go out my driveway, Crocker and I think it's a fucking hilarious idea to jump on the back of the tray. So we do that thinking, yeah, you know, it'll be funny. They're gonna notice straight away. We won't even make it out the driveway. But we jump on thinking it would shake the ute and they look back. No, we get all the way up to the, you know, the back window and we're like crouching down, trying to record ourselves. We go all the way down my driveway, which is like 100 meters. And just as they're about to pull out, like they're literally about to get on the road, we just cannot control ourselves and we just start pissing our pants laughing. My brother looks back, he sees both of us just sitting in the tray of this ute. and then he goes, stop, like he gets the driver to stop, and he goes, get out. So we get off the back of the tray, and we walk all the way back up the driveway. So we get back, we go inside, and we decide this is going to be the best night of our lives. I've mentioned this before. When you're on a night out with your mates, you get into this mood, you want to make heaps of memories, so you just decide, this is it, bro, this is going to be the best night of my life. That is the mindset we got into. We're radiating energy by this point. Around half an hour later, my brother and his mates return, filled to the brim with Maccas, and we decide we're going to have yet another 3 bickies. A couple of my brother's mates also, hooked in as well. And we're out by the pool just absolutely fucking loving life. I cannot even show how many photos we got that night. I would literally say 200 or 300 photos were taken just of us boys, all taking photos together, socializing, talking shit. By 10:30 p.m, Crocker and I are sat by the pool just absolutely gacking, looking like the types you'd see around your local commission flats. And what I've just explained, bro, hasn't even scraped the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, this story gets more and more fucked up as it goes, okay? I haven't gotten to the bad part yet. Gets to around 12 a.m. and Crocker and I are looking, pretty rough at this point. Realistically, should have been in bed hours ago. We're sitting by the pool and we decide to walk around the side of my house to sit with my brother's mates in the back of the ute tray, right? Because that's where they were all sitting around. And by 1:30 a.m, we all decide to go inside, like literally everyone. One of the blokes had left by this point, and my brother and his other mate, Jacob, were giving each other tattoos, like literally drawing on each other. And they started yapping about actually getting the tattoo gun out. My brother had a tattoo gun at the time, and properly like making them permanent on each other. But I don't exactly remember what happened there. From memory, we said something like Scott wasn't going to do it, my brother, but Jacob was seriously going to let my brother do a tattoo of his name on him, but we managed to convince him out of it. So it gets to around 2 a.m. and Scott, my eldest brother, decides that he wants to go to bed. He's tired as fuck, rightfully so. He didn't do any of the stupid shit that we did that night. But my brother's mates are still wide awake. So we all decide we're gonna go for a walk, why not? We walk out my front gate with a speaker and we start making rap videos. We're just walking along the streets being absolute degenerates, no regard for anyone sleeping, blasting this music and making like rap videos, pretending we're the rappers. And I remember when it got to my turn, like I was gonna do a rap video, a song that I would listen to every single day is the one that come on, like I put it on. I could not remember the lyrics to it. I could barely structure a sentence together. I kept tripping over my words. I couldn't remember the next line. I'd like, bleh, bleh, bleh. I just couldn't spit it out, right? And as I'm doing all this, I'm waving my hands, acting like a gangster in these rap videos. Internally, I'm thinking, is this really what you meant for yourself, bro? Like, is this what you're meant to be? I was having these thoughts in my mind of like, you say you want to do this and that, you say you want to make your dropshipping store successful, but like, what the fuck are you actually doing to achieve that? You're out right now fucking around with people who probably aren't the greatest for you. Since then, they have developed into good people. But at the time, man, these people were not people I should be hanging around or associating with. And I was doing things that I definitely shouldn't have been doing. Because at the time, I had massive ambitions, but by no means do my actions align with those ambitions, right? I was the lazy but ambitious person. And that is honestly the story of 99% of men. I hear so many young men say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. I want to start YouTube, I want to make money, da 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 da. Well, okay, what the fuck are you actually doing to make that happen, bro? Like, no shit, put aside your ego for a second. Don't say, oh, I've got school at the moment, man. Work's been really hard on me. It's hard to balance the gym and work and all of this, da 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 da. Do you want it or not? It's as simple as that. You either want it or you don't. You're either willing to lose sleep or you're not. It's as simple as that. It's not, oh, I've got to get my 8 hours beauty sleep and I've got to make sure that I can go out and have fun with my mates on the weekend and I've got to balance my job and school and my girlfriend. No, you decide what you want to do. Do you want to be successful or do you want to be average? If you want to be average, keep doing what you're doing, yeah? I'm not advising that. I will be the last person to say that's a good idea. But if you want to be average, pursue the same path as everyone else. Essentially, it's as simple as that. But anyhow, it gets to around 4 a.m. We get a couple hundred meters up the road, and you guessed it, I have yet another bicky. By this point, I'm just lucky to be still drawing breath, and we decide we're gonna go back home. Yeah, 4:30, we get back home, and I remember just before I went to bed, fuck knows how I got to sleep, but before I went to bed, I was sitting in my bed like this. I remember going to the bathroom to go to the toilet, and I was sitting on the toilet just like doing these ones. And I remember thinking to myself at the time, this has to be the last time, bro. It has to be the last time. I'll preface that by saying that it wasn't. Obviously, you guys know the incident which happened on the 18th of February was the last time, so I did do it a couple more times after this. But I just remember all these really negative thoughts going through my mind at the time because I knew that I wasn't truly living up to the standards that I should have been. There were people who expected more of me than I did of myself. No one should ever hold you to a higher standard than you do. Self-love is holding yourself to a higher standard than anyone else. And that's something I've made sure to live by ever since that night. So go to bed 5 a.m, wake up around 7 a.m, literally running off of 2 hours of sleep. And if I had to pinpoint an exact time in my life where I felt the worst I'd ever felt, didn't matter if I'd been sick or anything else, it was this time. Running off of 2 hours of sleep, feeling like absolute death from the night before. I make my way very slowly to the bathroom and I blow my nose, at which point my nose just starts gushing blood like I'm bleeding, right? And at the time I sort of found it funny, like, oh, that must have been a pretty hectic night for that to be happening. But honestly, bro, it was fucking stupid. It was far from funny because I truly believe that I'm one of the luckiest people on this planet, as well as Crocker, because out of all the stupid fucking decisions we made, countless stupid decisions that realistically should have made us draw our final breath, we somehow still live to tell the stories today. We're lucky in the sense that every fucked up scenario we went through in school ended in a very mellow way, or the best way it could have possibly ended. Because realistically, we were playing with fire that we didn't necessarily know the temperature of. If we got too close, we would have well and truly been burned by now. This was not the first time we'd done shit like this. I remember there were like 3 nights in a row back in 2020 when we first started getting into all this bullshit that we had done that. And bro, it makes for a good story, but fuck, it was not worth it. Like, let me just tell you that now. I hope you enjoyed this video, bro. If you've got a similar story, drop it down in the comments. But with that said, I wanted to let you guys know, given the fact that I've been so lucky recently with my videos doing super well, I want to give back to you guys. $30 gift voucher code right on the screen for my brand Hectic Threads. If you're interested in copping something, supporting me directly, go cop it right now. Hectic Threads hoodies just in time for winter if you're in Australia. I appreciate every single one of you motherfuckers who show love on these videos. Big love. I'll see you in the next one. Stay grinding, my G. Woo! It's gonna be a good day.